Poetry has changed over the centuries. The Greeks and the Romans have a very different vision of a poem than what we do today. There are time periods where it has changed more than in others. For example, during the avant-garde, poets explore a lot with the form and the way of producing art. Now in the 21st century, it is changing again. There are poets that continue using classical forms and others that are creating new ways. That is possible because art is changing. It is evolving. Nowadays, a very important thing we read or do poetry is experience. What does it mean, the experience? There are poems that don't tell an idea in its absolute context. Instead, they show a sort of playing with language to create an emotion or stimulation on the reader or listener. This play with language may imply that a poem can subvert all conventional structures that state the branches of linguistics, such as phonetics, morphology, syntaxis, and semantics. By unfollowing these conventions, language turns into a free expression to rename things in nature and human experience to its primeval essence. A kind of new nominalism into the meaning of words, which starts with the very atom of language, the sound. To explain for what these matters of language in contemporary poetry, I'll focus the discussion by mentioning two poems, The Sacred Mushroom by Bob Cubbing and Almacigo by Reynaldo Jimenez. I chose these two poems to compare because they represent a perfect example of how language talks itself about experience as a stream of consciousness. It is important to mention that each poem was written in a different culture and country. Cubbing was a British performance poet from an artistic movement called the British Poetry Revival during the 20th century, and Jimenez is an active Latin American poet associated with a poetry tendency called Neo-Barroso, a game of words between Barroco and Barrio that explains a way to conceive poetry by local language. This helps to explain the difference on the use of language represented in both artists. Now, I'm going to read both poems for you to have a previous experience before my analysis. So now we'll start with Bob Cubbing, Sacred Mushroom. Soma aoma, avesta naoma, soma harita hari harita, soma oma soma soma aoma, liska harita, sar sarv harita, liska linchi, soma oma, avesta naoma, soma oma, girole chanterele, hari harita, sarcostema brevistigma, liska harita, hari harita, soma oma, soma soma oma, liska harita, liska linchi, soma oma, avesta naoma, liska harita, sar sarv harita, hari harita, liska linchi, hari harita, sarcostema brevistigma, soma oma, soma soma oma, o soma oma liska harita, girole chanterele, soma oma avesta naoma, soma soma oma, liska harita, liska linchi, liska harita, sar sarv harita, liska harita, liska linchi, soma oma, o soma oma, soma soma oma, girole chanterele, soma oma, sarcostema brevistigma, liska harita, liska linchi, liska harita, hari harita, sar sarv harita, soma oma, Soma Soma Aoma, O Soma Aoma, Liscaling Chi. Next we have Almacigo by Reinaldo Jiménez. Rabiar de ser perdido en una especie zozobra que pudre al ser, al derribar al arma de los puertos, de parir partes en común, la fuga celular de palos, la nao del nao nos reconocerá nunca. Encebollar así el roce infrasecretarlo, cuando tanto se lastiman los carnales, requiere de una visa de sentido, una segunda semejanza que lo sospeche, una especie de oriente goce multiplicador. Consuena sin consuelo el entre dos, tejido nuestro hasta la edad de ver, un ruido a llaga, un dolor a bramar, juntar sin reparar el muro a espaldas, transquemante, muda te acompaña. Ilesa dictadura del desmadre, sin embargo, no impide la presencia, cilíndrico carburo de oscilación desde las fosas atmósfera, sin empañar donde pasas historia. Quienes decían enseñarte me pusieron frente al crujido de insectos, al echar chispas en la rompiente aguzada, siempre por el verme que la vencerá. So, here goes the analysis for both poems. Cobbing in Sacred Mushroom is playing with sounds. He doesn't use any familiar word that can give the reader a direct reference to their context or something that is known by conventional language. He just gives a sheet music that must be performed to be complete. Each time it is different as the reader changes the way of proclaiming it. Jiménez, on the other side, plays with the grading and rhythm between similar syllables. He eliminates letters and creates new words by mixing the ones we know. Nevertheless, the reader can understand the message. We can associate the poem with our daily experience and knowledge of Spanish. Even if two poems seem different at the beginning, they are both asking for the experience of the reader. If he doesn't interact with the poem and accept the game to speak it out loud, there is no possibility of producing an experience. The words need to be listened and spoken for them to create a new way of art. For example, in Jiménez Almacigo, there are words that are cut in the middle, and it is the way it is proclaimed that unites or separates them. And when we read Cobbing Sacred Mushroom, through their sense, there is a rhythm and that makes possible a multiplicity of options to perform with the same words of the poem in different intonation. As a conclusion, I would like to say that poetry is not about a meaning. It is about how we use language to create emotions and experiences that every culture can understand, even if the contexts change. We must play with the words, not put in a pedestal unreachable that distances people from poetry.